essentially what you are trying to do now is to do research to prove that also the effects of climate change are not only felt on the environment but also on the linguistic
part of it, and the cultural part of it. The environment is damaging. I mean, the damage of the environment has a lot of impact. But because of the environmental damage that has been done, the child may only hear it, and if it is not, it doesn't make any sense to him. My name is Mbinkar John Bosco, I'm a freelance journalist by profession, the founder of the Nso Heritage Association, an association that is geared towards the documentation of the history, culture, tradition, and the philosophy of the Nso people, and that of the grass fields of Cameroon as a whole. So coming to the mythology of Nso, I wish to draw your attention to the fact that before the arrival of the Europeans in Nso, or before they got the first contact, there was formal education in Nso, very serious formal education in Nso, and this was done through stories, folk tales, myths, and legends that parents used to give to children by the fireside. The essence was to teach the children bravery, patience, endurance, and a lot of things through folk tales. As a consequence, animals became part and parcel of the Nso mythology. They became part of the Nso history and part of Nso life. To an extent that there are some animals in Nso that cannot be killed because of their metaphysical implications that they have with the culture, that they have with the tradition of the people. So it is a very serious thing when animals were destroyed in Nso. With the history of Nso, when Nso and her suit on their way into self-exile encountered a river with a lot of difficulties to cross, and as they were trying to cross the river, they had a lot of difficulties. Many people died as a consequence. They decided to go upstream, and as they were going, a small rat ran across the river, and they wondered how the rat had done it. And they were able, the rat is known in Nso as Kai. They were able to cross the river. They followed the rat and discovered that there was a huge tree trunk that had fallen across the river. So they used it to cross the river. From that particular moment, and so people decreed that rat should never be eaten. You can never catch it. It is revered. It is like a god to them because it helped towards the creation of the Nso state. Definitely there is a dress, a traditional regalia known as Nzinjaf, which is made after that animal, that small rat. This is because that rat now has a lot of symbolic in Nso history, and it is respected. So the Nso traditional dress has the colors of that rat to give it its due respect. Apart from that, there are other animals in Nso mythology that have a lot of significance. The eagle is known as Dumowi, that is the great hawk. In other mythologies, it is revered. But in Nso, that bird is feared. Because more often in the past days, it usually appeared when there was a disaster, when there was a war and people had died, when there was famine and people had died. And this scavenger bird was coming out to feed on the people. So when it appeared on the horizon, the people knew that something wrong, a disaster had occurred in the land, and there was panic. Consequently, as a result, they developed to symbolically remember the sufferings of the people and to fight against hunger. There came a masquerade in Lamso called Shupala or Mabu. That masquerade came because because it was a reminder. They call it Lungowish, and its praise singers or its praise name is Lontumpu, the bearer of the message of death. By 1935, there was a serious famine in Nso, and then so euphemistically called that year the Yakemitashi. That is the year of the malnourished. And this now, because many people died, and the eagle and other scavenger birds had to feed on the corpses of the carcass of the people who died, it came to reinforce the idea of Shubala. It's an animal that is meant to teach and speak that might is not everything that matters in life. Intelligence is very, very important. For instance, there is a folklore story in Nso history, in Nso folklore, which talks about a meeting of all animals in the animal kingdom. And everybody agreed that there was nobody who could ride the elephant. And because the elephant was huge, it was big and powerful. And when they were about this person, the tortoise said, "No, I can do it." And the animals were like, "How can he do it?" He said, "Okay, let's fix a date for us to see that I will ride the elephant to this ground." And they fixed a date. On that day, the tortoise refused to go. He slept in his house and pretended that he was sick. And when they waited, the elephant could not bear the challenge. And he said, "I'm going to the tortoise house to bring him to the arena. If he cannot ride me, we have to punish him here." And all the animals accepted. So when he went and saw the tortoise said, "Yes, if I find myself in the arena, I will be able to challenge you. But now I am not fine. Can you carry me to the ground, to the arena?" The tortoise said, "Yes, I'm ready to take you there so that you challenge me as you said." So the elephant went down to the ground, and the tortoise climbed on the elephant. As they were approaching the arena where all the animals had gathered, the tortoise now, that was pretending that was ill, now stood on the elephant and said, "Hey, you see that I'm riding on the elephant and coming." And now they were cheers. Everybody cheered for the tortoise. So more often, that was an element to tell the Nso child that you have to think that intelligence was more than might. Another story where early in the morning, the monkey was on a walk in the forest, and the lion had fallen into a pit and was struggling to come out, and it was difficult. So the monkey stumbled on it, and the lion pleaded, "Can you remove me out of this pit?" And the monkey said, "No, I cannot, because I know that if I remove you, you will kill me." The lion said, "No, I promise that if you remove me, I will not kill you." The lion said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes." "Okay, how do I do it?" He said, "Hold a tree, send your tail inside the pit, I will hold it and come out." So the monkey did exactly like that, sent his tail into the pit, and then the lion held the tail and then succeeded in coming out. When he came out, he now held the monkey and said, "I've been in this hole for quite some time, and I'm hungry. I have to eat you in order to feed myself, because I've been very desperate, I've been hungry." And the monkey reminded him that our agreement was that if I help you, you may not be able to, you will not eat me. As we were quarreling, the tortoise was coming around and asked what was the problem. The monkey narrated the problem, the monkey narrated the problem, and then he asked the lion, is it true? The lion said, yes, it's true. Okay, he said, I will help you solve this problem. But first of all, let us see exactly, demonstrate to me exactly what happened. The lion, you say you were in the pit, say yes, jump into the pit. I don't understand how the monkey could have helped you out of this pit. You are saying, let us see, jump, get back into the pit and demonstrate to me how it happened. And then the lion jumped back into the pit, and the tortoise asked the monkey to go his way, and the lion remained in the pit. So all the stories about the tortoise are aimed at teaching the Nso child to be intelligent, to be have initiative, to think. Like it is the king of the jungle. The fallen Nso is called the lion. And some people do not like, in their history, they don't like a weak fawn. So to the Nso people, their fawn should be as strong as the lion, in order to fight for the people, in order to protect the people when an invader is coming. But the strength of the lion in Nso mythology is to demonstrate what the fawn is supposed to do, how it's supposed to be respected like any other animal respects the fawn, the lion in the jungle. But that is punctured now by the element of the tortoise, because in other words, some people say that might is not everything. You can be as mighty as strong, but you are not necessarily intelligent. So all those things now came to bolster the fact that we need a king who is not only strong, who is not only mighty, but one that should also be intelligent. The African cocoa in Soha is considered as one of it's like a medical, or the traditional doctors use it like a guinea pig to try to, because of its intelligence, to try to decipher what medicine could possibly use. And it first became, it drew the attention of the native doctor or the South doctor because of its unique way of life. The way it used to, because the cocoa can lay its egg in another bird's nest, so that in its absence, the bird will be able to, the other bird will take care of those animals. And even when it is hatched, the tendency is that the little one, the chick of the cocoa, will struggle to remove the chicks of the other birds from the nest, so that attention should be given particularly to it. So this unusual behavior of the cocoa is a bird that is rich in feathers but poor in flesh, attracted the attention of the Nso native doctor, and it happened. And then they followed the bird to see its lifestyle, and they discovered that it had a tendency to cure. So more often, when a traditional doctor wanted to know a cure for a particular leaf or herb that he could use to cure a particular disease, he will follow a cocoa. Once he discovers the nest of a cocoa, he will follow it until the chicks are hatched. Then, for instance, he will go there, carry either pepper or salt and put in the eyes. If he wanted medicine for the eyes, he will put the pepper in the eyes of the chicks and then go away. When the cocoa comes and discover that is what has happened, he will go and fetch for some leaves to come and help cure the eyes of the chicks. The next day, the doctor will come there and decipher, take the leaves from there, and will be able to know that these particular leaves are good to cure the eyes. If you wanted to know the medicine for fracture, you will go to the nest and fracture the chicks, and then follow the birds for some time and see whatever treatment that the bird is using to treat a fracture. Same as giving a wound to the bird and then follow up within weeks to see what the herbs that were being used by the cocoa. It is called an anthropocentrism to treat that wound of that of the chicks, and then consequently that is how medicine for curing some of the ills in traditional soap was developed. Yeah, so that was the first place that Nso had settled. It is because one of the reasons why they left Reform and were heading into self-exile was hunger. And he had foresight when their brothers disappointed her by River Mappe, she decided to walk up the river and to the first place that they ever settled was a plain. They settled in a cave and later spread in that plain, which is called Nso. It was a fertile ground. They had it satisfied the exigencies of their food exigencies. Because there was no food there. The one thing that was a big disappointment to them, there was a mosquito. And as a consequence, so would have preferred to remain in Nso, but as a consequence of the mosquito, they had to leave and then go up the hill from Nso to Nso and eventually to Corfu. But the fact that they left, they always look at Nso with a lot of nostalgia. And that is why, again, we were being captured in our song about Nso, which sings Mama Rombo e Runti, Ngomkembo e Runti, Mama Rombo e Runti, Ngomkembo e Runti, Nini Rombo e Runti. Mama Rombo is sugarcane on board, Ngomkembo is plantains or banana on board. That is the things that they ate there. But when she comes, after appreciating all these things, when she comes to the end, she says, Nini Rombo e. That is the mosquito. What drove us from there was the mosquito. So even though it was a handicap that some people would have remained in Nso, but then they still give a lot of reverence to it, because it stands to either force them up the hill to come from where they meet the Nso or the Salif. The amalgamation of the two tribes eventually form the nucleus of the traditional state. So the cobra, it is first of all, in Nso spirituality, the people see a supernatural being through his creation, through the wonderful works that God has done. And in Nso, cowries are royalties. When you see anything with cowrie, it implies that that thing can only be used in the palace. But when the Nso people now came to discover the cobra with cowries well carved on his head, that is why they call Yomba, that is the snake with cowries. And they venerate their God through this animal because they wonder if we as human beings use cowries as royalty, then the man who must have created this, the supernatural being who must have created this, should be a wonderful person to have successfully designed such beautiful cowries on a snake or on an animal of that magnitude. So to them, they revere that ancestor or revere that supernatural being through that snake. That is why the cobra or the yombamdum is not, nobody is allowed to kill it. And so it gives royalty. Eventually, most of these animals were fast disappearing, but you can now find it only in holy shrines, where the ground, where in such areas where they are untampered with, where hunting, trespassing is forbidden. So in some traditional shrines or in the place where they go to pray, or the leaders go to pray to pray to the supernatural being, that's where you can find those animals and some of the fauna, some of the grass or the plants that are used in treating people. Some people were very conscious of the environment, and they did everything to conserve it. That's why they formed Mansal lands that were reserved for hunting, and hunting was supposed to carry there only once every year, and so much so that animals were preserved, and it was a taboo in Nso to kill an animal that was pregnant. And why it happened, you had to make sacrifices, because that was their own way of preserving the natural environment. So this now has boiled down to because most of the animals have been hunted, they have boiled down to the spiritual areas where the spiritual areas where it is human activities have been bad, where you cannot tamper with. So now it is the struggle is to be able to preserve. Once you're able to preserve that shrines, that area, you'll be able to preserve some of these animals. You'll be able to there is even the environmental degradation. We're working on a project, we're writing a book on environmental degradation. Environmental degradation as a degradation of culture and language. Because there are some items that reminds people when they are talking the Lamso part, they're talking the Lamso, they draw inspirations, they draw comparison from plants, from animals. So there's a need to protect these animals, there's a need to protect this plant. As you're protecting the animals and protecting the plants, you are protecting the language, you are protecting the culture. Because the Nso man lived for a very long time on the environment. His culture is built completely on the environment. If you go now to protect those areas, you find out that they debate like, I don't know whether it's Tukuman or the English word of it, fen in Lamso. That is from where they get the feather that is used to decorate people. Now, for those birds to survive, they can only survive in that particular area. So now they are protected. There is a need to protect those in that environment for such birds to flourish, or for such animals to flourish, and keep the culture going, keep the people healthy, because we get medicines from there, and keep the language of the people going. It has a lot of implication. The damage of the environment has a lot of impact. The child to whom you want to translate this will easily understand the problem once he's able to see those particular things. He sings better. But if you merely make a proverb about a cricket, when the child has never seen a cricket, it doesn't have meaning. But the fertilizers that we have used have damaged, killed the worms, killed the crickets. And that if you're talking to a child about about a cricket, except you have to go to such areas, you will not be able to bring a single cricket to show the child that this is what I mean. If you're talking about the majestic walk of a chameleon, the child may only hear it, and if it is not, it doesn't make any sense to him. Nso has a way of talking about growth, and they use creeping plants. For instance, the pumpkin. If I want to say, I wish you that you prosper in your activities, or in your academic pursuit, or in your business, I will say, I take more ball, I take more J. That you should flourish like pumpkin, that you flourish like there's a fauna which is called NJ. And that will better sing to somebody when he knows what the pumpkin is, what he knows what the fauna that we're talking, if he sees it flourish, and you're saying that we should prosper like this item. So all those things, there are many of such problems in Nso. There is a need for us to ensure that those animals are there. So that once you give a representation, or once you make a pronouncement about that one, somebody who has seen the animal will be able to appreciate what you have said. Yes, I want to do a documentary about cultural sites. I want to do a documentary on the environment, as the degradation on the environment, as a degradation on language and culture. The equally identifying the species, the plant species, the fauna that is used as traditional medicine. So when you identify the fauna, when you identify those plants, and you're able to plant them within those protected areas, you are helping the traditional doctors at the same time, helping the health of the society at the same time. There are people who may not even have the needs to go to the hospital, but then the traditional doctors, the traditional medicines are proven to be very, very effective in curing those. And those areas now can only be, with the human encroachment, those herbs can only be protected within the shrine areas, within the protected areas. So we're trying to identify those areas. We're trying to study the history of those areas. We're trying to now protect it.